Okay, another segment here on a big question that comes up. What about the planets and the sun, the moon, the stars, everything? Basically, all the planets that we think are planets are actually just wandering stars. They were called wandering stars by all the ancients. I hate to use that word, but basically that's basically the we can see now they were more honest than our so-called modern technology or the technological class of people who claim to be astronomers. They called them wandering stars because anybody who's slightly interested, you probably could have seen Mars in the sky, and it's basically a red star. All these look like stars to us because they are stars. They're just called wandering stars because they don't have a fixed position in the sky versus the other stars that rotate in basically fixed positions, the constellations and everything. So stars are not suns. They are stars. So basically the heaven, the earth, the sun, moon, the stars, that phrase that we always hear from the ancients is actually cosmologically correct because I know what I was thinking. I thought they were wrong. I thought they didn't know that stars were actually other solar systems. But they actually are not other solar systems. They are just stars. They're celestial beings, basically. I'm sure they're sentient. I'm sure they have an awareness higher than the creatures below them. But here is a Nikon shot, close up of some stars, and he's just showing. This is Eric Dubé again. He's showing how basically they're lights in the firmament, what as the Bible says. And I'm not a fundamentalist Christian, but you got to respect the Bible because it is ancient scripture written by wise men. I mean, you don't have to be a Christian to appreciate the writings of ancient wise people. I mean, that's throwing a baby out with the bathwater. So they were right. These stars are basically their lights in the firmament. They refer to them sometimes as beings. I mean, the Gnostics would consider them archons, archonic entities, but they definitely influence human mentality. But here again, he's just demonstrating that they're just, I mean, they're twinkling lights in the sky to us. They're orbs, sort of. But that's there. They're not trillions of miles away. And like I think Edgar Allan Poe said, if all the suns in the universe or whatever were, we just see them as stars, the whole sky would be lit up because there's so many that the whole sky would just be lit. There would be basically no gaps in between if you really want to think about it, because there's infinite galaxy stars. I mean, there's all these stars in our galaxy supposedly. It would be more lit than we can imagine. But they're not that far away. They're a couple thousand miles up. And so the planets that you think you see, this is all CGI. We see, this is why you react to a movie, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and fiction. I mean, especially when you're looking at it and hearing it. So they know this. I mean, this is animation. But to you, this is real enough. If they tell you that this is real information, real knowledge, real cosmology, then you'll believe it. And so when you tell people, what about the planets? You never seen a planet. You've seen what somebody told you was a planet. But again, your mind doesn't know the difference between fiction and nonfiction. Your subconscious can't tell. I mean, it just takes in through the senses. So basically, they're giving us these CGI planets. This is all computer animation, and it's nothing like when you look through a telescope where you just see lights. Remember, a ball cannot reflect light in the manner that they claim. As far as if you look at Mars, the easiest one. If you go out at night, just look for Mars, a red star. That's not a ball because a ball wouldn't reflect light in that manner. So, I mean, you just got to question all this stuff now. All this astronomy and cosmology we've been given since children. Since, sitting in a classroom, you're given this globe. This is, I mean, it's programming. So this is why you think you believe it so much. But you got to question all this stuff. And you're going to go through Grief. I figured this out because it starts off with denial. When I first heard this, man, I was going after these flat earthers. I was calling them. I had so much knowledge to just. I thought I had them, but I just kept looking into it. And you stop at the bargaining stage, like really. I don't know. I don't know about depression, but I couldn't sleep. But when I really realized it, because of the stuff I've been studying, it's mind blowing because it really is flat. Like, it's really a flat plane. But then you finally accept it. So this is what you got to go through. Everybody's going to start off with the denial phase. And here are some high altitude shots. I took some snippets from some video to show here because the sun is not 93 million miles away. There's a spot right here from the sun. That's not 93 million miles away. It's been estimated by the astronomers who understood the flat Earth that it's about 3,000 miles away, which is probably close. Here it goes again. This spot. This high altitude shot. It's close. It's wholly close. Like, look at that thing. It's not 93 million miles away. That's not an optical illusion. It's right there in your face, right there above. It's right there. And so that's the sun we just looked at. That's the sun and the moon. It goes around this plane. It tightens and it widens, and it actually lowers and raises slightly too, which have something slightly to do with the seasons, I believe, but there can also be magnetism involved with the seasons. That's another shot. It's close. I think they estimate it to be about 30 miles wide. And it's just a shot of some people making fun of NASA. All the rockets, if you ever really watch them, and I always just think this as a child, the rockets never went straight up. They always curved. And they probably tell you that's the curve of the Earth, but no, it's the curve of a fall because they're coming right back down. There's no magic height you get to where you start to float. That's a myth. So even when you see these floating, you might see them in the so-called space station floating. They're on the 0G plane. This is called a 0G plane that you can experience no gravity or low gravity. There's also a neutral buoyancy tank underwater they use for the floating shots. Because this floating thing is not even real. That's not real. There's no point you reach where you just start to float, where you get high enough and you just float. No, anything that goes up comes down. That's not a crude, ignorant, pre-modern understanding. No, anything goes up comes down. You don't keep going up and all of a sudden, if physical objects with density, they come right back down. So that's a funny picture. People who swear, they look at this and they swear they see a curve. But like I said, that's just, preconceived notions. And this is them, this is the pool they use. They show us this pool like they're just training in it. But they actually, when it's time to go live, they're in that pool claiming to do spacewalks. And they have the blue screens and everything. I mean, it's just sophisticated. Like I said, it's Hollywood and NASA working together. Here's a shot of the sunset or whatever you want to call it. And there's some clouds behind it. Because people think, that the sun, we say sunrise and sunset. Of course, what it is just going far, far, far downfield, you can call it, down to where it's out of your view. So if you observe the sun now, or you look at a time-lapse video, just look at it with this understanding and you'll tell, oh, that is zero. That is what happened. It's just going far out of view. Far, far, far downfield. And we can't see infinitely. So that's a silly reservation people come up with to debunk this, is that we should be able to see infinitely, which is going far down. It's not 93 million miles away. It's high above the clouds. And here's a planet Venus from a telescope. See, it's just it's a wandering star. It's a luminescent being, basically. But it's not you can't land on Venus. This is all made up. We've never seen the planet. Like I said, all that CGI. So we've been indoctrinated pretty good. They did a pretty good job with this one. That's a quote from the Nazi party. Basically how cinema is used. And like Universal Films, all these studios are in on this indoctrination, this globe indoctrination. Every time you watch one of those movies from Universal, you see the globe. I mean, it's programmed into you. It's a symbol. And so when somebody tells you the earth is flat, that's the most absurd thing, is like, because it's programmed into you so early and so visually. But again, you never have seen the globe. So this the ancient Hebrew conception with the stars, again, within the firmament, what they call it in the Bible, and the sun and moon, the clouds, as we saw in the picture. The sun is close. This corresponds to what the picture showed, and the stars. So basically, there is a firmament. Outer space, we think it is false. That's not real. Physically speaking, your body can't go past what basically a lot of researchers are saying it's basically a type of glass above. So don't ask me how they made the glass, but this actually is looking to be what the reality is. The more and more we look into it, there's a dome over here, and there's waters above. And so I'll just play this video basically describing the waters underneath the deep sea. This diver discovered waters underneath, which is to give some credence to this theory about the waters.
One of the strangest places on the ocean's floor was only just discovered in the 1990s. I might agree it's one of a handful of people to ever see it in person.
Without a doubt, one of the most amazing things I have ever seen in the bottom of the ocean. It was while filming for Blue Planet in the Gulf of Mexico. I noticed there's something out in the distance. Couldn't tell exactly what, but it looked like a dark band. And as we approached it, the dark band became a donut. I saw this donut. It was black in the center. What the heck is that? And so as we get closer and closer to it, I noticed that the black band had what appeared to be kind of steam over it. And then I looked, and there was water lapping against the shoreline. This band was a ring of mussels. And inside the ring of mussels was a lake. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm already underwater. So we went out over the water in this lake and tried to descend in it, and bounced off. It was so super saline and dense that the submarine couldn't go down in it. We literally bounced off, and as we bounced off, we sent ripples heading back to the shoreline. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it.
See, so basically that's what the Egyptians were talking about. The waters are new. It's in the Bible. They talk about these waters. There you go. He's proven it. There's waters so dense that yes, this terra firma we are sits on a layer of waters, and under those waters could be another plane with a sky above them or whatever. So yeah, there you go. There's definitely could be waters above the firmament, above this dome, which separates it from even higher planes. They tell you this God in the heavens, and so the Christians are really basking in this. They were right about this though. We definitely live on a plane. And it's definitely on top of waters and within waters. So and this guy, he died in a helicopter crash. It could have been a hit because of his discovery. I don't know, but yeah, there's dark waters underneath. They can't penetrate. They're so dense. So it's a little more to add to this flat plane of Earth understanding.